UFC 309 just finished, guys. I am here to break down the main card for you and just talk about the top of 4 of the main card fights that I want to discuss. The main event, the co-main event, Bo Nickal vs Paul Craig, and Mauricio Ruffy. So, we're going to start with the main event, and I'm going to work my way down, finishing with Mauricio Ruffy. So, starting with Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Dude, this is great, okay? This is not necessarily what I wanted, okay? But Jon Jones gets a third round finish over Stipe Miocic, spinning back kick to the body. Looked like it broke Stipe's ribs maybe, or really, really badly hurt him if it didn't break his ribs. Stipe ends up retiring. Jon Jones, however, doesn't retire and says, I think I'm going to stay for one more. Or I don't even know if he said one more. He just said, I think I'm going to stick around. You know, I'm not going to go anywhere yet, which I'm fucking glad for. However, he didn't confirm whether he was going to fight Tom. He said, I have to go talk to Hunter and Dana. We're going to discuss it. We've got options. You don't have options. Option A is you fight Tom. Option B is you fuck off. Because nobody wants to see you fight Pereira when you haven't fought Tom. Okay, I'll speak about that in just a moment. Stipe looked old. Look, he did well in moments, but he looked old. His body looked soft. He looked really soft to the body. I noticed it from like the second liver kick Jon landed in like the first 30 seconds. Stipe immediately reacted to it. And that could just be because it's a liver kick and because it's Jon Jones kicking in the liver. But still, I think Stipe being 42 didn't help. He just looked like his body was really, really easy to hurt. He had the grit and the ability to take shots and still fire back at Jon, but he had no speed and no pop. And just is what it is. Jon kept Stipe exactly where he wanted him and where he needed him. And the finish was very Jon Jones-esque, right? Like, I'm a big Jon Jones hater, and I'll happily say that, but I can still talk about the fight. Luckily, this fight isn't shit, because Gane was a shit performance for Jon Jones. The only bad thing about this fight is that the name value is bad. Like, you're fighting an old, retired dude that hasn't fought in years. So for that reason, it's bad. But actual fighting-wise, it was great. This is what we needed to see from Jon at heavyweight. More than just 3 minutes of him toppling down a kickboxer and choking him out. Like, that was very obviously going to happen against Gane. I'm a dumbass for picking him. I was very new to the sport when I was watching that fight as well. I'd only been watching for a few months. Yeah, man. Just listen. People will not remember you for ducking if you fight Tom and beat him. Okay, if you lose to Tom, people will probably remember that you ducked Tom, because that'll be part of the story. This is the guy that beat Jon Jones, even though he was ducking him. But if you beat Tom, people will not remember the fact that you ducked him, okay? Because you'll beat him and retire. People will just remember that you stuck around and beat the interim champion. Now, the title defense on the interim championship is a weird one, but the history books just won't remember it. They don't. These things get lost in translation. Who remembers Colby's interim title situation? Like, that was before I was even a fan of the UFC, but I know about what happened in there. Who talks about that? No one, because no one cares, because it just sorted itself out. And then now it's like, yeah, whatever, that was years ago, who gives a shit? So if Jon just fights Tom and he beats him, it doesn't matter. People will forget. They won't care. They'll be like, yeah, whatever, it was years ago. It is what it is. But everyone it will be worse. Listen to me. It will be worse for you, Jon, if you fight Pereira now and then retire without fighting Tom. That is way worse. You should have just fought Stipe and retired if that's your plan, because you're going to get shit on forever if you do that. Forever. If you want to fight Pereira, you got to fight Tom first. You just do. So if you want to do 2 more fights, do 2 more fights, sure. But don't get this idea that the fan base is going to just always have some next guys. Oh, I beat this guy, now the fans are like, oh, now this guy next. And you're like, oh, wow, you've always got someone for me. That's not what's happening here, dude. He ducks Tom to fight Stipe, who's 42, okay? Whether the fight was a fun idea or not, and it's cool for legacy and, like, timeline-wise, sure. But the only reason people are saying you're ducking Tom is because Tom's young, active, getting finishes, and is the interim champion of your division, defending his title before you are defending your title. That's why people want you to fight Tom, okay? Pereira fight is just like, big name, someone's getting finished. That's all they care about, okay? The Tom fight is huge storyline-wise, UFC lore-wise, your career-wise, proving yourself in the division. If you fight fucking Pereira, bro, people will remember your heavyweight run as old man Stipe, gone in fucking 2 minutes, shittily, and then he went and fought a light heavyweight after he said that he was a heavyweight now. He went and fought a light heavyweight guy. Who used to be a middleweight, by the way. People aren't going to complain, man. If you fight Pereira and leave, we'll complain. If you were to retire tonight, we'd complain. But if you beat Stipe tonight, like you did, and then go fight Tom and retire, no one complains. Go fight Tom, fight Alex again. No, oh, Alex again. And then fight Alex after that. No one complains, okay? You don't need to stick around for every opponent. Like, we're going to be like, oh, okay, you beat Tom, but come on, like, Alexander Volkov just got a win over Cyril Gahn. Come on, you're going to fight him? Like, that's not what's going to happen, man. We just want you to fight Tom. Please. We need that fight. For heavyweight legacy and lineage, we need to see that bout play out. Please. With that being said, Tom in a round. Anyway, moving on. Co-main event of the night. Chandler versus Charles. Now, what a fucking barn burner this one was. Like, unironically. This is going to be fight of the night. I'll check now on UFC's Instagram if this was fight of the night. But this one was ridiculous. The first 4 rounds so dominantly went to Charles. So dominantly. Like, it wasn't even funny. They haven't posted the bonuses yet, but we'll see it soon. All 4 rounds, he kept getting Chandler down, getting on his back over and over again. And then in round 5, okay, it was an insane back and forth. There was good moments here and there, but it was what it was. Noted, Chandler had way less low IQ. Okay, Chandler's IQ, he's still dumb. He still did make dumb decisions, but way less than normal. Especially because he made it 5 rounds, right? If it was really on Chandler IQ mode, he wouldn't have made it 5 rounds, but he survived 5 rounds. Well, actually, he survived 4 rounds. And then the 5th round came along, and Chandler decided, round 1, Chandler, yeah, this was reversed tonight. Usually you get crazy Chandler in round 1, and he sucks from there on. Chandler kind of sucked from round 1 onwards. Even in round 1, he didn't do that well. He did okay, but not that well. And then in round 5, he's like, okay, it's the first round. And we're like, no, it's the last round, Chandler. He's like, well, I didn't use my first round mode, so I'm using my first round mode now. And it fucking almost worked. Like, really, really close to working. I wouldn't have cared. I would have been very happy. Oh, I would have been sad to see Charles lose, but I would have been very happy with the outcome if it was Chandler, round 5 comeback after losing 4 rounds in a row to Charles, defending the choke in multiple different occasions, gets up, knocks Charles out, submits Charles, whatever. Fucking awesome, dude. Do it without 20 back of the head shots in a row. The referee said nothing. Nothing. It was literally like, oh shit, like the back of the headshots, bro. It's just literally hammer fist, just over and over again. And referee is saying nothing. I was screaming on top of my lungs. Insert a clip here. A shot, that's the back of the head! Back of the head, bro! This is all back of the head! Ref! I was screaming my lungs out, and I was so pissed because it looked like Charles was gonna either, one, get knocked out, which I wasn't that confident was going to happen, but was possible. But what I thought was about to happen was the referee was going to step in, man. The referee, it's your job to stop back of the headshots, not stop the fight when you see back of the headshots, bro. You meant to stop the back of the headshots so the fight can continue, not stop the fight so the back of the headshots can't continue. Like, what? That's not how that works. It's so backwards, man. Chandler, you did well here, and you actually would have won a lot of fans back if you didn't fucking go with the dirty moves. He just can't help but cheat in every fight he has. He grabbed the cage like 3 times as well. Charles eventually gets up to his feet, still loses that 5th round, obviously badly, but ended up getting the decision, 49-46. One judge gave Charles a 10-8 in there. I'm not sure where it was, but I'm not that surprised maybe because there was a couple of rounds Charles had like 3 minutes of control time. But fucking awesome, dude. Look. Oh yeah, and I didn't even mention there was twice. Chandler just literally has Charles on his back. And he did this in the first Oliveira fight, right? I believe it was the first Oliveira fight where he stands up with Charles on his back and Charles is trying to choke him out and he just, what? And throws himself deeper into Charles's guard, which is what that does. But he did it this time in this fight again and it was like, haha, oh, that's funny. Especially because he had to get up. Like, it was hard for him to get up to do that. We're like, oh, he's standing up. I was like, oh, he's going to do the thing. He's going to do the thing. And they did it. And I was like, ah, hell yeah, he did the thing. Cool. All right, let's move on now. And then he just puts his foot down and starts just standing up again and just... It was literally like I was watching a Rocky movie or a Marvel movie or something, and it's like the dude's dead. The music stopped and the bad guy starts walking away. And then all of a sudden you just see... It's not over. And like, I don't understand how Chandler was able to just continually get back up. It was cool. It was cool. But like I said, he cheated a fuck ton. And for that reason, fuck you, Chandler. Fuck you. You didn't deserve this fight. And you cheated a lot to almost win it. Okay? That would have been infuriating. But it's okay. Don't know what Chandler's going to do with the rest of his career. But it is what it is. He can move on. Charles, however, winner of Islam versus Arman. Now, you might say he's 2-2 in his last 4. Why would you give him a title shot when he's 2-2 in his last 4 fights? You got to think about it, man. His only 2 losses are Islam, which is the guy that took his belt. Sure, that's fine. Then he gives the most challenging fight of his career to Arman, the guy who is now challenging for the belt because he gave Islam the most tough fight of his career. Like, these 3 guys are the champion. They're the champions of this division. Okay, Arman, Islam, and Oliveira are gonna run this shit for a couple more years. I'd say if one of them loses or if 2 of them lose or whatever, those 2 are gonna beat the fuck out of all the other contenders. Okay, Charles beat Chandler again for a second time. He beat Beneil in between those fights as well when Beneil was unbeatable. Granted, Arman then went on to beat Beneil as well, but like I'm saying, that's not actually aging quite well for Beneil Dariush. As much as he got finished twice in a row and it's kind of sad, he's like 37. Those wins age well. I lost to Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan when they go back to back on like #1 contender fights and title shots after that. Like, that's fucking not that bad. So and Charles was the first guy to do it. Charles finished Beneil before Beneil fought Arman. So got to give him the credit, man. I just don't see any reason why you'd give anyone else a title shot in the lightweight division. The winner of Islam versus Arman, unless it's a rematch between the 2 of them, which I doubt, especially because we kind of have Charles in here that we want to get in there with a rematch for Arman. So if Arman wins the belt, it kind of makes more sense, as long as he beats Islam definitively, it makes more sense to give Charles the rematch with Arman rather than Islam, because Charles actually had the closer fight with Arman if it is to be Arman beating Islam definitively. If it's a close fight between the 2, I can see why that would maybe be a bit of a different situation. But if Arman beats Islam well, they'll give Charles a shot, and then Islam can come back and fight the winner of that, because he will then have a win over both Arman and Charles and a loss to Arman. And then if Charles wins that, he's fighting Charles, the guy he's already beat, who beat the guy, Arman, who beat him. And if Arman wins, he's fighting Arman, the guy he's already beaten, who beat the guy that Islam had already fought before and beaten. That will seal a lot, okay? That will seal a lot of the lightweight division's fate in the future. And then after those 2, Islam can fuck off. If Islam beats Arman and then defends against Charles, go away. You don't need to be here. You don't need to be in the lightweight division anymore. It's fine. Like, we will not complain and say that you rushed and you retired too early or you got your double champ opportunity too early. Nah, man. If you beat, regardless of the Volk hysteria, where that was like a bit of a weird fight, if you beat back-to-back, he fights Charles, then he beats Dustin Poirier, then he beats Arman Tsarukyan, then he beats Charles again. 4 title fights, 3 title defenses, 1 is a rematch against the guy that you beat. 3 different opponents, smoke them all. My rule for double champs, beat 3 guys in your division, or defend 3 times in your division against 3 different people. One of those defenses could be a rematch. That's fine, because as long as you're fighting title fights against 3 people, take title off the guy, fight 2 more contenders. That's what I think should be standard for the bare minimum for double champ opportunities, okay? And so far that hasn't happened for Islam. He's fought Charles, then he defended twice against a featherweight, which is fine, but he lost the first fight, and then the second fight, he got a finish, but it was tainted by the short notice, blah, blah, blah. Still fine, okay? Fine. It's totally okay. I'm not trying to say Islam's tainted his legacy or something for that reason. It just means that you need to consider that you can't be like, dominated Volk twice, and then dominated Port. Like, that's not how it happened, okay? That's not how it happened at all. In fact, it was like the closest fight of his entire career. Arguably, actually, not even arguably, he did. I mentioned that Arman gave Islam the hardest fight of his career. Untrue. Second hardest fight. Because Volk gave Makhachev the hardest fight of his career. And that's facts. So, we'll see. But Islam's legacy is fine. It's not tainted by that. He just needs to defend against Arman, and then defend against Oliveira, and then go to welterweight. But if Oliveira beats Islam or Arman in the rematch, oh baby, we are so fucking back. If he loses, that's gonna suck, because then he'll be 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Hell yeah, Charles, my boy. Charlie, shout out the Bronx, the champion nome. Moving on, I'm gonna run through this one real quick because there's not that much to talk about, but I just want to mention it. Bo the Bot Nickal versus Paul Craig. So, let me just say this. Bo fought fine. Bo fought totally fine, okay? I mentioned in my reaction he's got limited weapons. He kind of throws the same stuff all the time. He throws a lot of left overhands and a lot of left straight hands to the body. He kept doing that over and over and over again. But he did the right things he needed to do to beat Paul Craig by not taking him down. I guess he didn't want to try and get submitted. He didn't want to try and submit him. And then he just stayed on the feet, beat Paul Craig definitively on the feet every round. Now, it was boring. Don't get me wrong. It was boring. Okay, Bo does not have the skills to fight ranked fighters, okay? That's very true. We saw this, the slowness, the lack of technicality in some of the exchanges and stuff. Bo can't go ranked yet. give Bo like 2 more unranked fights, I think. 1 more at least. At least 1 more, please. But he fought fine, okay? Now, I just want to say, if this was a prelim fight, if this was just some random prelim fight, it could be a pay-per-view still, sure. It could be fucking UFC 300, whatever. Maybe not UFC 300, but literally any other pay-per-view. If this is just a prelim fight, it could even be the last prelim, right before the main card starts. And Bo Nickal isn't some big name that he is for no reason. No one says anything about this, man. They might complain a bit during the fight, but... And they might be on Instagram being like, yeah, this was a hug fest or something like that. Like, oh, damn, not cheating into this guy's next fight. But they wouldn't be booing. Nobody would be booing after the fight. People wouldn't be booing through the post-fight speech. Like, it's because it's Bo Nickal, man. People just don't like him unless he's ridiculously dominant. And that's just, 1, the fault of the UFC, and 2, unrealistic to think is going to be the way that his career goes, man. He's 6-0. He's quite young. Isn't Bo Nickal literally like 27 or something? 28 maybe? He's 28. Yeah, he's 28. He's young, and he's got very limited MMA experience. He's only been doing MMA since he was like 25 or something. So, chill. Okay, I'm not that impressed. Don't get me wrong. This is not me defending Bo Nickal and saying what a phenom he is. He did kind of poo. It was a bit boring. He just did enough. He did everything right. He didn't make any dumb mistakes, okay? But... yeah, there'd be no people slandering the winner and booing and stuff if it wasn't Bo Nickal. It's just because the fan base has decided to put him on this stupidly high pedestal that he never needed to be on in the first place because of his previous credentials outside of MMA. He's not living up to the hype because you've set the bar way too high, okay? Set the bar lower and you'll be fine, but it's too late now. Like, you've already fucked up Bo's ability to live up to any kind of hopes that we have for him because everyone's just like, yeah, he's a world beater. He's like, he's as good as Chimaev. He could beat Chimaev. Like, what the fuck are we talking about, man? Just... shut up. Just shut up and let Bo fight for like 2 years. Just let him have like 5 unranked fights, and then when you get to a ranking, then we can start being like, oh, maybe he's as good as Chimaev. Dude, he's knocking out Val Woodburn and Cody Brundage, and then people are like, oh, dude, this guy beats Chimaev. Like, what the fuck are we talking about, man? Just calm down, okay? Calm down. Hopefully next time, Bo's got more confidence. He can he can display a bit more technicality, a bit more skills on the feet. Maybe we get to see some more wrestling and takedowns and submission defense / offense, whatever. There's not much to actively hate on in this fight with Bo. That's the thing. There's not a lot to hate on, but there is a lack of things to critique. That's the thing. There is a lack of display. There was a lot of moments where he's not doing anything wrong, but he's not doing anything. Like, there's a lot of nothing happening, which is why there's nothing to complain about. He did most of what he did well, and he landed shots well, and he stayed at distance well, and he defended against Paul Craig's shots well, but there was just a lack of display, a lack of activity, and a lack of dominance, and that's what we need to see from an undefeated fighter that thinks they're going to beat Khamzat Chimaev. Case in point, full stop, end of story. Finally, we have the ultimate fucking title run. It is here, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming. The Mauricio Ruffy title run is here. The fucking Fighting Nerds plotline is still coming to fruition as we speak. Every week gets better and better. We've got Kayo beating the shit out of Jared Cannonier and knocking Paul Craig out. We've got fucking Carlos Prates KOing the Leech and Charles Radke and fucking Neil Magny all back to back in the same year. We've got Mauricio Ruffy knocking out Jamie Malarkey earlier this year and then coming out and beating James Llontop in Madison Square Garden. We just need Gene Silver to come out and put a masterclass on, which he already did. Gene Silver masterclass the fuck out of, KO'd Charles Jourdain and then masterclass the fuck out of Drew Dober to his doctor stoppage that he was definitely going to win regardless. He beat the shit out of and brutalized Drew Dober. So, you know, the Fighting Nerds plotline is here, man. So, I love Ruffy, man. His style is so unique, striking-wise, he's very technical. The thing is, he brings so many weapons that you just don't even expect him to whip out, dude. Just randomly out of nowhere, you're like, alright, he's doing his karate stance style thing, the McGregor stance, as people want to call it. And then all of a sudden, just step in. What happened there? Oh, okay, he just tried to step in upwards elbow, 6 to 12 elbow. Sure, people don't do that very fucking often, but we'll just look by it. We'll look by it, sure. What's that? Oh, he's done a fucking... He's done a fucking tornado kick that he threw himself to the mat trying to throw. Okay, sure. Fine. Whatever. Flying knees up against the cage, fucking... Like, he's just doing shit that you don't think is going to come out of his ass. You might know he has the weapons, but you're just like, oh, he threw one of those. Okay, sure. It's fucking great. It's really entertaining. It's how you catch people off guard. It's how you get fans to be like, now this is something different. And he's doing that well. So, look, he was slow at times in the fight, and he took his time a lot, but it had purpose. He was calculating and being patient, and it paid off, because when he would connect, when he would throw and engage with James Llontop, he was hitting him hard and accurately and not with any wasted energy. No wasted movements. He's not accepting blows in return. He just would wait ages, wait for Llontop to make some mistake, and then just wabba as he steps away. Big right hook comes in. Or as he gets in there real close with Llontop, and then just whoosh, there's an elbow as I leave, or whatever. He was defensively very sound. Speaking of elbows, Llontop kept on trying to throw that elbow in the clinch when they're clinched up with each other, and they back out. Llontop kept trying to throw that elbow, but Ruffy literally just kept going and just letting that elbow just go past his face every time. It was pretty good. He was being defensively sound in the clinch. On the feet, he was very defensively sound as well until the third round. But we'll talk about that in a moment. Llontop's chin is ridiculous. Okay? Llontop has ridiculous grit. He almost got finished in the second round. Ruffy literally killed him and he was dead. Okay? Llontop was on the floor dead and then just somehow stood up and just kept going. It just, it's ridiculous. He came back and won the third round just based off pressure and, being able to just keep Ruffy walking backwards and having better cardio than Ruffy did in that round, because obviously Mauricio used a shit ton of energy in the first 2 rounds. So it wasn't, uselessly tired, but Ruffy had to start being all right, now I need to take 20-second breaks, throw a but get engaged with you for 5 seconds, try and throw a counter something, then I get clipped and I'm all right, let me wait for another 30 seconds, 25 seconds, let me just stand on the outside, dodge some stuff, do some calculating, engage again. So he was not out of energy completely, but he just clearly had to preserve the energy to be able to be used efficiently and smartly. But he did that well until the third. He did that well in the third round. He still lost the round. He did it well and he managed to maintain himself and just not get hit a lot. But Llontop still had that pressure. He had the cardio, just kept walking forward, throwing stuff. Ruffy just couldn't really get any great counters in. It was good. Llontop won the round that way. He reminds me of someone like Bobby Green or something like that, where they're not the greatest, but they're way better at surviving through death moments than other people are. That's where it's way bigger difference from Llontop. He's not the greatest fighter, with someone like Bobby Green. He's not the greatest fighter altogether. He can be at times, but he's been exposed a lot. However, he does have that ability to just get really fucking hurt and then still just be obviously Bobby's been knocked out a couple times now, I know that, but just regardless of when he's been knocked out, when he gets hurt, he's able to just still has that scrap ability, he gets hurt and then you've just been clipped by something out of nowhere. You're like, oh fuck, I thought I had this guy on shaky legs running backwards and he's clipped me with something. What's going on? Llontop reminds me a bit of that. Kind of even though he's not really a veteran, he's veteran dude that doesn't need to be in crazy shape or doesn't need to be having a crazy amount of pop to beat you. He just manages to be in your face and you can't knock him out. I don't know if Llontop's actually been knocked out before. It's a great question. Let's actually have a look now. He's been choked out and that's it. He's never been knocked out. So yeah, he's one of those kind of guys that just marches forward and is really hard to hurt, Still, he's relatively a can and it was a gimme fight for Ruffy. Ruffy was meant to fight I think he was meant to fight Charlie Campbell, and there was meant to be another fight as well in between there, but I can't remember who it was. Both got cancelled, so he had James Llontop to fill in on short notice. Hopefully we can get Ruffy against an actual good opponent. I'm excited to see his next fight, dude. He called out Benoit, which is not a bad call out at all. I actually quite like to hear that, because Benoit is one of those names that no one mentions, so you're not going to be competing for that matchup, that's for sure. But Benoit is, I believe, still ranked, and he might have to fight an unranked guy next, but he also might just fight a 15 to 10 ranked guy next. They might not give him an unranked guy straight away after losing to Moicano. Benoit Saint-Denis is ranked at 12 still. He's still ranked 12. He didn't move down at all. So yeah, he's definitely not going to be fighting Benoit, but he might get that fight in 1 or 2 fights time. I think until then, if you want a really good fight against Mauricio Ruffy, if you want a really good fight with Mauricio Ruffy, you want to get him in there with someone that's going to scrap with him, someone that's going to let him get hit, but also try and get real scrappy with Ruffy. I think you do Manuel Torres versus Mauricio Ruffy. Just saying. To me, that sounds like a real fun matchup. There's probably a lot of other unranked lightweight matchups you can make with Ruffy, but that one to me sounds so much fun. Finishing capabilities for sure on both guys, and I think it would be great. That one chucked out on a pay-per-view card that can go on a prelim or something like that, maybe on main card, but we'll see. Future is bright for Mauricio Ruffy, that's for sure. And yeah, man, that's all I had to really say. Just to quickly run through the rest of the card, Jonathan Martinez versus Marcus McGee was kind of fun. Marcus McGee managed to just keep Jonathan away. Third round, John almost got him, but just wasn't enough. Marcus McGee's now ranked. That's going to be cool. That's going to be fun. Jim Miller gets a fucking nasty quick submission. It jumped the ghillie over Damon Jackson. That was brutal. Got it done. Well done. I think Damon Jackson might have retired. Jim Miller did not retire, though, so he's sticking around. David Onama versus Roberto Romero was fun. Roberto Romero looked really good in the first round and even in the second, but Onama managed to get the decision. Tai Boer versus Jonathan Deniz was meh. On the early prelims, we had Mickey Gall got brutally KO'd by Brahim Maj. That was fucking pretty bad. Basil Hafez versus... Oban Elliott KO'd fucking Basil Hafez brutally. That was a good fight. That was a really good fight, and it was in the third round. The first 2 rounds were fun, and then Oban Elliott got a real good KO there. And then Eduardo Mora with the decision over Veronica Hardy. So, honestly, a good card. We also had Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders got cancelled on the day of the fight. So that's a thing, but it is what it is. Oh, and Viviane Araújo versus Karina Silva. I know I didn't mention that much, even though it's on the main card. I just didn't have that much to say about it. It's a little bit of a, like, it is what it is fight. Araújo beat her. Now Araujo's 13-6 instead of 12-6. It is what it is, you know, WMMA. So, thank you guys for being here. I hope you did enjoy this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys are enjoying these more new style videos where it's more just me talking and it's not actually got any fight footage. I'm not sitting here reviewing something. I'm just talking about the fights, the event that happened. So I'll try to continue to do more of these videos. I hope you guys enjoy them. There's been a lot of love on the Tom Aspinall is the real heavyweight champion video. The John Jones has a fake heavyweight legacy. Go check it out, please. It's getting a lot of views, and I hope to keep it getting that many views because I don't usually get popular content that isn't fight-based, like showing reactions to stuff. So that's the first ever popular video I've ever had, like really popular video that I've had. That was just me talking, and I'm glad because it took a lot of fucking editing. I recorded that video like more than a month ago or something like that. I just never got around to finishing it until I decided that I wanted to post it on Fight Week, UFC 309. So there you go, got it done there. But thank you guys. I will leave the video here. Please like, subscribe, check on notifications. You can come and join me live for my fight companion for UFC Macau, Piotr Jan versus Davidson Figueiredo. That one's going to be fun. You could have been live to watch UFC 309, but you weren't. If you were, shout out you, but you probably weren't. So make sure you come and join me next time. Throw on notifications so you don't miss the uploads. You'll get notified 30 minutes before the stream starts and when the stream starts. Every week, I'm here. Apex card, pay-per-view, doesn't matter. I'm here. So come and join me, talk and chat, watch the reactions. You don't need to wait over a week or something like that, or like several days, whatever it is, for me to make the videos and edit them and get them out of the reaction. You can come and watch it live with me. Every reaction, prelim, fight, main event, whatever it is. I'm here for the whole thing. So come chat. It'll be fun. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the event. I hope you enjoyed my breakdown of the event. I'll see you guys all in the next Mixed Martial Arts video. Goodbye.